And not with no sword now. You don't get a sword. You get to march straight toward a 1,000,000-man army, and you're going to sing. What a great strategy. But it worked. It wasn't the singing that did it. It was God who honored their faith and went before them. And I mean, there was nothing there when they got there. It took them 3 days to gather up all the treasure and all the bounty that the Lord had in mind. He turned that thing completely around into a blessing. God can do what He needs to do, folks. But when you start praying, this is the part that I wanted to get to from what Carl said. When we start praying and saying, oh God, make me more fruitful, make me more effective as a Christian, teach me your ways, look out, He's going to. But you know, we need to learn not to be dismayed when He answers our prayer by how He answers our prayer. When He puts you in a distressing, difficult, impossible situation, He's done it so that you will learn to let go, stop trying, and trust Him. And I'll tell you, faith will grow. And God's name will be glorified. You know, the other example we used the other night in prayer meeting was Gideon. And they were attacked by the Midianites, and I think they were under the thumb of the Midianites, actually, had been for a long time, and God had purposed to deliver Israel because there were some people that cried out to Him. He raised up a common, ordinary man. Angel, I think that was the one, isn't it, where the angel came to him and said, "Thou mighty man of valor." I'm sure he was looking around, wondering who was standing behind him. But you know, God can say that about us, not because of who we are, but because of who He is. Just like the fruit doesn't happen in the vine, in the branch, by the strength of the branch. It happens because of the life that's in the vine. And that's true of us as well. So Gideon was sent out with the armies of Israel, sent out the word, everybody come, we're going to battle here. And I believe it was 32,000, if I remember correctly. Don probably remembers that better than I do. But anyway, 32,000 people showed up, and you can almost see the wheels begin to turn. Okay, now we got a good bunch here. We're going to take care of business. Now let's get our generals together and work out a strategy. This is going to be great. We're going to, but the Lord said, wait a minute, there's too many. Lord, are you sure? You told me to send out and have people come, and now we got too many? What's going on here? How can you have too many? And so anyway, of course, we can look at this through the eyes of history. We can see what God was trying to accomplish. He didn't want them to be able to say, hey, we won the victory because of our strength and our strategy. God wanted to make this His victory. Something that only could happen if He acted. And so, of course, the first step was everybody who's scared go home. Well, 22,000 went home. And you can see the wheels turning. Well, okay, 10,000. This is going to be tough, but somehow, I guess we could figure out a way to make it work. 10,000 is still not it's a bunch of people. And they're not scared, so we got that on our side. So, all right, let's get some strategy. And then the Lord gave them something else, didn't He? He said, go down and have them drink. Divide them into two groups, those that lap this way and those that get down and drink. And so there were two groups. And one group was 300, the other was 9,700. Well, now, if you had been the leader, what would you have said? Okay, I guess we can live without those 300. But that's not how it worked, was it? Send the 9,700 home. You'd have been the same way. I mean, you can just think you can imagine what Gideon was thinking all these times. He doesn't spell it all out, but he was human. He was just like us, just an ordinary guy, just minding his own business, and an angel comes and says, you're the deliverer. So he's looking to God and doesn't know, he's totally dependent. God's wisdom was in that. God didn't pick some mighty warrior. He picked somebody who had no credentials, except he had God behind him. That's pretty good credentials. But every one of us has that. Every one of us can be what God has called us to be because of the God who has called us. That's the secret of everything in the Christian life and in the kingdom of God. And so, of course, you know the story, how God wrought a great deliverance, just sowed total confusion, sent dreams and caused the people to have fear. The Midianites were afraid. There was just something in their psyche. I mean, talk about psychological warfare. This was the original. God had already had them prepared to be frightened of something that was coming. And then all of a sudden, the confusion of all these people, these handful of people surrounding them and shouting, and they thought this great army was there, and they took off in confusion, and God won a great victory. Well, can you imagine anybody coming up with a plan like that? Or marching around Jericho? Now, there's a plan. You know, we've got a God who never runs out of plans, never runs out of resources. And we tend to be his biggest problem. We just come to that. If we would not only pray, God, teach me your ways, but then yield to him when he does, and believe him and thank him and recognize what he's doing. When he brings you into a difficult place, he wants you to let go and say, Lord, I'm in your hands. You're going to have to fix this. And we're going to learn, as David did, we're going to learn how to trust God. God sent the lion, God sent the bear, didn't he? And as a result, Goliath was not a problem, because he knew it wasn't one coming against him, it was the God that had given him the victory. So I praise God for this morning. God does want us to be a light. He knows it's impossible. Everything about the Christian life is impossible to us. But he wants us to simply come to a place where we learn his ways, and we quit trying and we start trusting. And we're willing to learn of him in the process. And guess who gets the glory when it's all said and done? The only one who deserves it. Praise God. Praise God.
This has been the Midnight Cry broadcast. If you would like a DVD or a CD of today's message in its entirety, please request it by program number. DVDs are $10 and CDs are $5. And for those who request it, we will send you our quarterly publication, The Midnight Cry Messenger, free and postage paid. Send your request to Midnight Cry Ministries, Post Office Box 685, Southern Pines, North Carolina, 28388. We invite you to join us again next week at this same time, and may God richly bless you until then.